This is question 2 of the June 2013 C123 exam paper. The first part of this question asks you to finish the diagram to show the complete combustion of one molecule of methane. So if we look at the information that they've given you, methane here, you should recall that methane is made from 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens. So the grey circle in the centre is representing carbon and the 4 white small circles are representing hydrogens. Within the oxygen here, you've got 2 oxygen atoms here, both represented by a large white circle. The carbon dioxide is missing, so you've obviously got to fill that gap there, and the water is represented H2O, so 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Okay, so let's look at the carbon dioxide then. Carbon dioxide is made from 1 carbon and 2 oxygens. So we need a grey circle and 2 white circles. So they should be represented something like this molecule here in the Word document that I've just opened up. So a carbon there and 2 oxygens, that's carbon dioxide. Okay. But the second mark is for adding a second oxygen, because you should recognise that you've got 4 oxygen, so 1, 2 within the water, plus 2 within the carbon dioxide makes 4, and we only started with 2 here, so we need a second oxygen molecule. Okay, so that's your second mark there. Right, for the second part of this question then, it's a longer answer question. And it asks you to describe what happens during the incomplete combustion of hydrocarbons and explain why this can be harmful to health. So there's 2 parts to this question. Firstly, describing what happens during incomplete combustion, and the second part explaining why that's harmful to the health. So to get all 6 marks, you need to make sure that you're looking at answering both sections of the question. So let's have a look at what the mark scheme is wanting you to say. So if we look on the right hand side here, all of these bullet points are separated into the first part of the question here, so explaining what happens during incomplete combustion, and the second part here. So just pause the video here and make sure that you're okay with all of these bullet points before I then explain how you build up the answer. Okay, so for a level 1 style answer, it says that you need to include some relevant points, but there's not enough detail to give a complete answer. So you might have added 1 or 2 points out of either of these 2 sections of the answer, okay, but there's just not much detail there. For a level 2 mark answer, it says the answer can partially include both a description of what happens and an explanation of the health problem. So a few, maybe 1 or 2 points out of this section and 1 or 2 points out of the second section. Or another way to get a level 2 answer, so 3 or 4 marks, would be to do cover one of these 2 sections in quite a bit of detail. Okay. To get the full marks here, so 5 or 6 marks, you need to describe in detail what happens in incomplete combustion. So you've got quite a bit of detail, not necessarily all the bullet points here, but I would say a good kind of 3 or 4 of these bullet points. And also comment on the health problems, and again with some detail. So just saying that carbon monoxide is poisonous wouldn't be enough detail. You have to say why it's poisonous, how it causes it to the oxygen not to be able to be carried around in the blood, and also saying particles are harmful. Well, you need to say what effect it's going to have. Okay. So once again, if you need to, pause the video here and have a look over these bullet points. So the last part of question 2, section B, asks why the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has only risen by 0.01%, even though we're burning a lot of fossil fuels. Okay, so that would basically suggest that the carbon dioxide is being used for other things, it's been absorbed for something. And the two aspects that we've covered within this specification are looking at photosynthesis, which is quite a common answer for this question. The one that's often forgotten is that carbon dioxide will also dissolve in water, so both of those would remove carbon dioxide from the air. Okay, so photosynthesis by green plants and dissolving into water such as the sea